Into the Nexus returns to talk all things May. May. Need a May picture. Oh, here we go. View image. Bam. And there we go. Oh, God. What is a website images not just drag and dropping and being JPEGs anymore? It's extremely mad.
Right? It's so dumb.
What is the... Why? Why? When did this start and why? The worst. It would have been really delightfully the worst if they made this announcement on May the 4th.
Right?
That would have been great. It would have been just the worst, and I would have loved it.
It would have been cute. Yeah, I figured it got delayed. Wait, May, June. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that actually wouldn't have been terribly impossible. Though the world has been
consistently on fire nonstop.
Yes. Yeah, so maybe they had to dodge for something I don't quite remember because we're all just catching up to the next thing. Living a day at a time. All right, I have tweeted. Tweet is complete.
All right, tweet complete.
Tweet complete. I am posting that we are live in the Discord.
Yay. Is this thing on? No, it does. Okay, pop-out chat apparently is busted now. So I won't be able to see chat room. Didn't work yesterday either. It was maddening. I don't know what's going on now. All right, you good to go?
I am ready. Welcome, Soph.
Cool. Into the Nexus 321 records live in 3, 2, 1. Into the Nexus is a production of amove.tv. Bookmark Amove TV for other great video games and esports podcasts. Into the Nexus is sponsored by listeners like you via patreon.com/ITN. May a fresh new episode of Into the Nexus be with you, everyone. I'm Garrett Weinzierl, here as always with Kyle Fergusson. Kyle, are you prepared to do what we need to today?
I am. I'm very prepared, actually.
Are you ready to come to a realization that I did not warn you about, so I'm not even sure you came to the same realization that I have?
Perhaps.
We have a very ironically warm welcome to give to a newcomer. Everyone's stoked. Everyone's excited. Everyone's hyped. Myself among them. But what everyone has failed to realize, the reason that the next hero coming to the Nexus is so important for you and I, is because we need to welcome a third Frost Bro.
Oh, snap. I didn't think about that. Oh,
She's
man.
She's a tank. Yeah. All the boxes are checked. All the boxes.
I called it. I said tank. People didn't believe me.
You totally called it. You absolutely called it. If somehow, folks, and we have heard this before, there are folks that listen and we are like apparently the entire way. Some folks out there keep up on on Heroes of the Storm. And if that is the case, you've been living under a Heroes of the Storm rock, or you just really like us to tell you the news, so you've been waiting for us to do so. The news is May is the next hero being added to Heroes of the Storm, and she is indeed a tank. You were so right, man. You were so right.
She's a tank. She's got it all. She's got unstoppable. She's got self-shields. She's got percent-based healing for herself. She's got slows. She's got a blind. She's got a stun. She has a stasis if you want to have it. She has a multi-person haymaker if you want it. It's the whole kitchen sink. And it's the only way to make us a tank we're happy with, so they did it. They did it, Garrett.
They gave us what we didn't know we want. I mean, they gave us they gave us what we wanted in the form of a tank. I just really wasn't expecting Mei to be a tank, and also to feel so natural in the role. Because when I read the headline, when I was going on the Twitter, Kyle, and I see that Mei has been announced and that she's a tank, I think to myself, oh, this must be so shoehorned. This feels like it was a reaction to public or popular or just vocal opinion from the Heroes community. Tank, bird, tank, blah, need a tank, we need more tanks. So let's shoehorn Mei to fit into, but no, that all just throw everything I just said the frick out the window, because to me, it works. The kit makes a lot of sense. Mei bringing the type of control to the battlefield that she does feels so right for a tank. She feels old school, man, and I mean it in a good way. She feels like classic Heroes control and kit and abilities with still some really impressive things we haven't really seen in the game before.
Yeah. There are some things. Damage might be low, which is good. Everything I just mentioned is amazing, and lane clear might not be that great, which is perfect because we don't want her to have everything. But also, I think there's a bit of a perspective that people have this week. Let's call it that, because Mei is not the dramatic thing of the week. People not getting the hero they thought they were is not the dramatic thing of the week.
No, not at all. It's another bit. We'll get to it. But there's a new anomaly on the horizon. In the clouds, there's a new anomaly in the atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Kyle, had we been the type to forethink our jokes a little more, we might do a Weather Channel intro.
Oh, yeah, it could have been. Yeah, we have a flurry of news today. A front's coming in.
It's difficult to see where the game can go. It's a little foggy at the moment.
Yeah. Well, we should get to the news lightning fast.
We should. Before we do so, we want to thank those of you supporting us over at patreon.com/ITN. And if you've never checked it out, that is the way to support Kyle and myself. This program that we call Into the Nexus, it can also get you additional programming. Kyle and myself talking anything but Heroes of the Storm on our other show, Weak Sauce. We are a mere $20 away from just keeping it around. So go check that out. You're also going to get access to Discord and ad-free feed, signups for our patron games, all kinds of lovely perks. Go check it out, patreon.com/ITN. And to our two most recent patrons, thank you to John Salcido and Duplex42. Thank you very much. Now, let's just get straight into it. This week's Heroes of the Storm news.
We're on, boys! Ha-ha! Let's liven up this place!
Point me to the stage.
Stay a while and listen.
So as we've mentioned, Mei is going to be hitting the game very, very soon. She's up on the PTR at this exact moment. I have played her. You have played her. I'm smitten. I really like Mei's kit. This is the most I've liked a new hero immediately, I think, in like a year.
I mean, it's a good kit. It is a mixture of Johanna and ETC, which is what we were asking for. It's not in that camp of the overwhelmingly oppressive, therefore absorbs things like the Garrosh or Mal'Ganis. It's definitely in the first category, which is perfect, fine. It's ranked as medium. And when you play this kit, you go, oh, ETC's easy. Now it makes sense because this is what you consider a medium tank.
Yeah, it again, and I really want to highlight how much I think this doesn't feel shoehorned, even though it checks a lot of boxes of concerns from the community, tank-wise, and yet feels like May, looks like May, fits really well, I think. So, yeah. Are you in the positive column? Are you going to be drafting May right out the gate?
Probably not.
Okay.
Because she's going to take a lot of work. I think she's a really, really good tank. I absolutely think she's first pick material. But there's a combo here that is rather obvious once you start playing her. That's just going to take a lot of work to get good at. Because you can perform a power slide. It just takes 2 abilities. So it's a bit harder to do. So let's get into those abilities real quick. Because the trait is the Cryofreeze. Engulf yourself in ice, gaining a rapidly decaying shield that absorbs 1,000. So that is a really good number. While active, you have Unstoppable and restore 35% of your max health. 40-second cooldown. So this is really neat. One, because there's counterplay available. If you lose the shield, you lose the Unstoppable. The Unstoppable is just so you don't get moved around and pushed around when otherwise you would be kind of camping out, getting some health back. The thing I love about this is that you can go deep, absorb a gleaming orb maybe for your team, hide inside a shield, regenerate a massive amount of health, and then still be able to bail on the other side. So I want to jump straight to icing. Slide quickly in target direction. When this effect ends, enemies near May are knocked back, taking very low damage, but it has a slow of 80% rapidly decaying over 1.5. So you can, unlike Blaze, like a power slide, you can slide in across the front line, into the back line, bump the front line into your team, bump the back line back, depending on what you want to do. And while you're back there, waiting on that 14-second cooldown, you may jump inside a shield and hide it out and absorb some poke that would otherwise hit your team.
Or stand in another ability because I talented to make myself a machine gun level attack speed while I'm standing inside of my W.
You might do that as well. Blizzard, Command Snowball. This, I believe, is the Overwatch heroic for her, right? Like the big charge thing that she does.
I don't remember the last time I played Overwatch, so I can't tell you that.
Dirty, here's the Storm players, are we? Command Snowball to create a Blizzard. It's called Blizzard. You know, there's multiple blinks in the game. It's fine. The company's Blizzard. Enemies within the Blizzard take very low damage, 13 damage, and every 0.25 seconds are slowed by 7%, stacking up to 35%. When the Blizzard ends, everyone inside is stunned for 1.25 seconds. So you create an area that slowly slows, climaxing in this stun, and if you put it out and people try to walk outside of it, you can slide over and boop them back in. But you're basically creating a really, really fancy power slide. So that's why I think she's harder and why I would really want to spend some time with her before I go drafting her up.
Yeah, she has combos, which you know other tanks have had as well, but hers are very flashy and attached to noteworthy cooldowns. Because if you're trying to do what you just said and you miss, you're out 2 of your 3 basic abilities, and they're both on 14-second cooldowns.
Right, and 70 mana each, so you might be going if you're missing this all the time. But you have that Cryofreeze to recover from that situation, and there are talents that can help you get decreased cooldowns on icing should you want to go deep, hide out for a little bit, and then bail again. Like, it's so important that this character is able to move through targets, unlike Blaze. So you have a lot of control.
I have a I need like a sanity check.
Okay.
Is it weird that I am as hyped as I am for how much mana May's abilities cost?
Interesting.
I am really stoked about a hero I'm really stoked about a new hero that actually has to worry about mana. It's been a while, man. Like this May feels so old school, and I'm really excited about that.
No, that's a good point. And she has to be old school to limit the amount of that huge list I listed earlier with the unstoppable blinds, you know, and all that sort of business going down the tank list. We haven't yet talked about Snowblind, which is her Q. You throw a snowball, and enemies take 70 damage, not a lot, slowed by 35%, and are blinded for 1.25. So you've got a pretty long range blind. You can use this to pre-apply the slow that you might use to trap people inside your blizzard. But I think ultimately, if you're not denying very particular space, like there's a world where you might be like, oh, we're outside your gate, like we're messing, we're pushing with the immortal. Here's a blizzard on the gate. Don't come out enemy melee, or you'll get stunned some point during that. But otherwise, if you're making a big area open engage, you might want to, if there's nothing to blind on the enemy side, throw the snowball to advance the slow up to 35% for blizzard and help blizzard land easier.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to land this thing too. The impact area is sizable.
Oh, it's fast. Yeah, it's really.
And did you see the talent that turns off structures?
Yes, for 3 seconds. So that's a really interesting one. I thought Sylvanas would have caused enough issues. Granted, Black Arrow's a lot longer. It's on an assassin.
Much longer, and you can hit multiple structures.
Right. It has its other issues, but it's still surprising that they decided to put this on a kit. There is a bug on the PTR right now that there's no graphic associated with it. Apparently, it's going to have a similar one just to Syndragosa. It's going to be a frozen-looking building, so that'll be updated come live. It's really interesting, though, because with our current forts and keeps and the aggro, which is going to be kept, you can turn off that aggro. And when it unfreezes from Slush Ball, the level 4 talent, it'll forget about its previous aggro. So you could go in there, make a mess of things, make it real mad, freeze it, and then escape or continue to piss off things, whatever you want to do during that time. It won't be still mad at you on the other side.
Ooh, very interesting. They're also, we have, it's going to be a bit to get through May, but they're changing up the call to help anomaly one more time. So the whole ability to be able to turn off structures almost seems, well, it seems less necessary than it was before. But I'm still excited about it. It's just cool that there's another hero that can interact with structure shots. And I mean, this one seems the most, I don't want to say balanced, but like the most nonchalant, like 3 seconds compared to what Syndragosa can do or what Sylvanas can do. Is not a very,
right.
It's a little window. It's a little opportunity for it. I get excited about it because it's like this 3 second potential for a play.
There is, and chat points out Gazlo can do this as well. Haven't seen him in a while, but you're absolutely right. There is a place at level 16 where you can get fresh powder that allows you to get an additional charge of Snowblind. You can decrease the cooldown at level 1 if you want. So there is maybe a machine gunny, like max, we're talking like 6 seconds where you could be turning off buildings. And this does compete with some of your survivability, but not too heavily. You may take this as tank. There is a world where there's like a frustrating, weird, I'm going to say off tank May. I personally think her damage is not incredible. You might hit like maybe Leoric or Yrel levels if we're talking like you're not, if they're not particular in their anti-comps there with like Leoric, but the damage isn't going to be huge. We're talking like 45 at the end of the match, 45,000. I don't think you can afford to put her in the off lane. Her lane clear is going to be so bad. That doesn't mean you can't just like sit in it. If you had a rotator, if you had a Genji coming around or a Medivh or something that could make some picks, she will survive. She just won't outpush anybody.
Yeah, I was surprised by her lane clear. Like, Blizzard is expensive. It's on a 14-second cooldown. It doesn't do a ton of damage, but it did help me keep up.
Yeah. And it denies that space for people to come in and mess with it.
Yeah. I was expecting her wave clear to be a lot worse. So it's probably my own personal bias because I kind of was looking at her damage numbers, being like, "Ooh, this is not a lane hero." But she's fine. If she has to, she can. But
yeah, she's got like a Mephisto like talent at 1 that can help you lane clear a bit with multiple hits on Blizzard.
Yeah, it's
not awful.
Yeah, and then, once you start scaling and getting a little more damage and whatnot on your abilities, it becomes a lot more manageable. But again, you are using Blizzard to do that, which is a pretty key part of her kit.
Definitely. And icing and snowball aren't really going to help you out there either. So you can keep icing for escapes, either through teams. Now, of course, icing, your slide here isn't unstoppable. So things like Malfurion Roots might be a good anti, just like for Diablo. Anything that is going to interrupt you is going to stop the pop that happens at the end. So at any point during the slide, you can hit the button. So let's say you want to ETC's barreling. He's looking like he wants to come at your team. So you can do a little mini slide. I think it's a 0.3 seconds you have to be in it, kind of butcher style. But you can be like, zoom and pop, and then give him a little pushback and say, no, not right now, ETC, I'm busy. Or you can slide through him and choose when to pop it back there. But if you get stunned, if you get controlled during that slide, there is no pop back, no mini face melt, and no 80% slow decaying over 1.5 seconds.
Yeah, it's this opportunity for counterplay.
They've thought it through.
It's a pretty long slide. If she was unstoppable during that, I think it'd be a little ridiculous.
Oh yeah, it's lengthy.
So we haven't talked about heroics.
First up is Avalanche. After a 0.5 second, roll a massive snowball that consumes enemy heroes in its path. At the end of the path, the snowball crumbles, releasing the consumed heroes, dealing decent damage, and stunning for 0.5 per hero consumed. So if you catch one hero, Haymaker style, and this does go through buildings, by the way, it's slightly dependent on where you place your mouse when terrain is involved, which is kind of weird. So let's say I want to snowball you to the point of hitting the trees on Garden Terror. I would put my mouse in front of the trees. But if I want you to go through the trees, I put my mouse on the other side of the trees. Otherwise, it does kind of go a set distance before it's controllable. It's an odd feature and it doesn't mention it in there. But of course, if that's one hero that I'm haymakering through my wall into the fort range and all that cool stuff, they will be stunned for 1.5 seconds and I'll be in that new haymaker location. If I catch three heroes like a big old mighty gust and they roll all together, that'll be 1.5 seconds stun at that new distant place.
Okay, I'm gonna ask for some technicals here because I did not realize any of this. Are you saying that you can choose whether or not it will interact, like it'll have collision depending on where your mouse cursor is when you cast the avalanche?
It doesn't have collision. It goes through terrain, but it seems like the last third of this rather long haymaker-sized push or mighty gust-sized push, if you place your mouse in front of the terrain or behind the terrain, it'll help it decide which side they're deposited on.
Okay, so if like terrain is within the final third of its travel path, in your testing, your curse's location seemed to push it in one direction or the other.
Correct.
That is wild.
Yeah.
Also kind of cool.
Yeah.
Kind of cool, but also kind of wild. Is there a indicator on if you're not using quick casting of like the final third?
No, there's nothing like that.
Wonder if that's intentional then.
It might not be, but either way, they had to account for terrain, and it's nice that there's some control on it, because if otherwise we'd do the haymaker thing and go through terrain and you might like run in front of them, but then like back up 2 steps and be like, wait a minute, which distance? Because I don't want you to go that far, just a little bit far.
Yeah. Interesting stuff.
So this one's really exciting because it is the haymaker isolation. Cool heroic that does some damage and gets a good stun, and certainly will be much like Black Hole, the one we're all excited about.
And at 65 seconds, it'll basically be ready for every team fight.
Right, and you can get that down to 40 seconds with the level 20. So
yeah,
it's the solid one that everyone will use when they're solo playing. But when we think about coordinated play, when we think about combos, Ice Wall sitting there after 0.75 second delay, create an impassable wall that traps enemy heroes inside of it. This is a stasis, so it catches unstoppables as well. By the way, unstoppable does help you avoid the snowball because it's just to pick you up snowball. But ice wall,
but not ice wall.
Yep.
Yeah. And so if you're caught in so it's impassable if you weren't caught in it, but if you're caught in it, you're just caught in it. You're in stasis. You can't be damaged.
Friendly characters are just kind of like pushed to the side.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's a 2.5 second duration for any of the heroes that are actually caught in the wall, which feels like a long time by Heroes of the Storm standards. Yeah. And then when it expires, there's a massive slow at the end of this, 75%, but it is a decaying slow over the course of 3 seconds. So it starts extremely oppressive and rapidly falls off.
Right, but like all of our other stasises, APOC still acknowledges the character. So if you did Diablo Make combo, again, like there's a lane clear problem there that you'd have to address, but you could set up with that. You could set up with Zarya. You could set up with Gazlo. Yeah, it's a straight line too. So I'm really... the cute idea I'm excited about the most is that this traps people in a straight line. And if Rain of Vengeance Vala vaults sideways and is like, boo on that, or Falstad, barrel rolls himself over and Hinterland blasts the straight line, Imperius lines up a Q, it could get really, really nasty.
Yeah, it's a combo enabler for sure. And you can draw it, right? Like you can direct it.
Yeah.
It can, be on a diagonal, straight vertical, straight horizontal. It's there's a lot of potential with this. And can we just take 2 seconds to not be like nitty-gritty talent or performance nerds here and just talk about how good the graphics are, like the effects kit on May. Can we put some of this over on Arthas, please? This frost, these ice effects look amazing. The snow for Avalanche as this giant snowball grows is gorgeous, and Ice Wall is just, it's wild looking.
They're very, very nice abilities. I agree. Ice Wall on a 90-second cooldown, by the way. So it's going to be a big heroic to line up a lot of big stuff. And I expect it'll be much more popular and coordinated. But, yeah, it is directional.
Yep, I agree. There's one talent I want to make sure we highlight before we go on. I think you were kind of alluding to it when you were talking about a lot of the with the slush ball talents aren't really competing with your survivability. Like the most obvious talent here, I'm looking at everything here and I'm just like, oh, this is the one that everyone's going to pick no matter what, is backup battery at 7. This is your activatable self-healing that removes roots and slows. Also, you can get the cooldown down on it every time you pick up a regeneration globe.
20% maximum health. This is a level 16 burden talent, basically, that everyone was taking before they learned to just hang out for 4 seconds and get your health back another way. But she has that on top of her trait, which is also on top of accumulation, which can give you a 20% increased healing and 10 armor at level 16. There is a lot of ways to really take care of yourself. And I'm excited about that because it means we can get other healers in there. A lot of our healers are really burdened by taking care of the tank as well as the rest of the team. So it has to be very busy. Ariel might be able to work well with her because she can really focus on her carry. And May can go do that backline orb absorption stuff I was talking about, completely take care of herself. And hey, you might even do like an ice wall on the backline, and then Ariel can whip the tank into the wall because it counts as terrain.
Oh, that's fancy.
Yeah, it's a little fancy. It's a little fancy.
You're getting so fancy on me, Kyle.
Can I continue this heartbreak you were experiencing with Arthas for a quick moment, though?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's most of my history with the loving of the hero in this game specifically.
I think Arthas is a decent bruiser. I love Sindragosa right now. He is just not a main tank at the moment. It is rough out there for the guy. Very particular comps that can work out, but ever since Greymane figured out Cursed Bullet is an option, poor Arthas in that regard. May brings so much slow that I think she's just going to take over as the go-to executioner hero with our Rainers.
Agree. I think Arthas is now seeing May. I think Arthas is like ripe for a rework, like a sizable one. But I'm also not bummed about it as the Arthas fanboy that I am, because May's kit, that would make no sense on Arthas. You want to see Arthas skating around? It It would totally break his entire flavor and character.
Right. There is some, there's definitely some power creep here because you have to talent into the aura eventually rooting, and this is a slow that eventually becomes a stun. But Arthas also has really good damage in that solo lane and can have that throughput, particularly with the Q build. I don't mind him in the solo lane right now at all, and may not be able to match that without a frequent visitor.
Fair.
But get ready for more Orphea, because Orphea's got a really nice executioner talent at level 1, or style talent, and I think that's going to be quite the combo. Orphea's doing great right now.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, she's been doing great for a while now. Really just fits. So, we're going to be talking about May for weeks. Anything else you want to talk about before we move on?
I have here in the show notes for the episode 2 builds, a off-lane build and a main tank build that you may want to take a look at if you're going to be picking her day 1. Otherwise, we'll discover this as we go. So let's move on.
Wonderful. Let's real quick talk about the call to help update. Basically, it's getting changed one more time. As far as towers are concerned, the armor debuff is being removed entirely, as well as the aggro system. It's being reverted. Towers are no longer going to prioritize heroes who attack other heroes in their range. Nothing is changing for forts, keeps, in the core. They're keeping the armor debuff. They're keeping the call for help, aggro, retargeting.
This feels very natural. I know we said in our imagination episode on it that once you take away one factor from one building and don't have it on another, it's going to get messy. The forts are imposing enough that your brain can say this zone is important. And I really like how much it's opened up the solo lane again, because that tower aggro just made that space so small with those 2 circles. Now that push is available to do, and we don't have to worry about your Sonya, splashing through the wall or anything like that happening.
Yeah, listen, I was pretty happy with it before, but I'm not going to complain because solo lane is where I pay the bills in Heroes of the Storm. So my life just got a lot more straightforward. My knowledge from years of playing this game stays.
Right. So it reinforces that need with the passive XP, with the trickle, with the catapults. For us, when we're in fort range, let's get the damn fort done. Let's not fart around. It's
the push and pull of easy to understand versus feel. Does it feel right? Because really, it should feel more dangerous when you move past the wall, right? You are in the fort or the keep's territory. You are in the enemy's territory. Really, should feel that way.
Den.
Exactly. So to me, it makes sense. It clicks for me immediately. Okay, I can totally understand. Towers, not going to totally destroy me unless there's nothing else for it to target. But once I'm past the towers, proceed with caution.
Feels good.
Feels good indeed. Let's talk about other feels, though. Because there's a new anomaly. There's a storm brewing, Kyle. All of your weather puns, put them here. The new Nexus anomaly is called Climate Phenomena. And the way they explain this is that each battleground is going to have a specific type of weather event that will occur periodically. That is the most loaded periodically I've ever read. Each weather event lasts for a few minutes at a time before clearing up. This cycle will repeat periodically until the game ends. While these weather events are active, heroes can gain a unique buff based on the type of active weather. These buffs are as follows. Rainstorms. They're going to, I'm going to say periodically so many times, periodically strike all heroes with lightning, which is going to give increased movement speed and grant a lightning shield that damages nearby enemies. Hello, Rhaegar. The movement speed buff is 25%. The damage from the shield is 64 damage per second. And the buff after the lightning strikes lasts for a duration of 8 seconds. So for 8-second window, you're moving 25% faster and just doing AoE damage every second.
Mm-hmm.
Snow flurries are another type of weather. Heroes are going to accumulate a small shield over time while out of combat. The shield starts at 28 and slowly accumulates to 224. The shield lasts until it's destroyed or until the snow stops falling. There's also Foggy Mists. I've just been calling it fog. This allows heroes to gain stealth after standing in shrubs, bushes for a few seconds. You have to stand in the shrub for 1.5 seconds, then you're going to gain stealth. And the stealth lasts 40 seconds or until attacking, taking damage, using an ability, or until the fog weather dissipates. What? And then finally, rainstorms.
Wait, no, we did rainstorms.
I already mentioned
but then we go into the maps.
Yeah,
no.
So those are the three. And
Yes.
then those three are spread between different battlegrounds, but they're never going to change. So like Garden of Terror has rainstorms. It's always going to have rainstorms. It will never get snow flurries or foggy mists for now. Who knows if it changes in the future. So Kyle.
Yes.
This is like the only thing the Heroes subreddit wants to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how, 30 minutes into the show? You know how positive I just felt about everything about May related, how kind of over the moon I am with that hero?
I'm getting a feeling.
Okay. If you can imagine the opposite of that, that's my feeling about this anomaly.
Okay.
This, I'm going to use some strong words. I hate everything about this.
Oh my.
I couldn't be less interested in this anomaly. I want it nowhere near this game.
All right. I'm here with answers. I did a lot of research into this week. So
I'm glad you did, because this doesn't give us enough information.
No, this is a bad presentation. We knew there was a May video and there was a Nexomania video, and there may be a weather video that'll make this all clear come Tuesday. We needed that information to understand this. It is very nebulous to say periodically. It is very scary because people aren't going to check out the PTR, so everyone reacted before they tried it. And there is no reason people shouldn't feel, and I'm going to use a strong word now, betrayed after our previous anomalies. Our previous anomalies were about education. They're about XP. They're about clarity. They're about feeling good during defense. There's nothing wrong with anybody out there being like, whoa, you pulled the switcheroo, Blizzard. Anomaly brings a variety of fun weather effects. Are you insane? Fun in a video game. How could you? Choices for enjoyment. Surely not.
Fair. I don't feel betrayed. I will say this feels out of left field.
And you're not wrong there. This is a shakeup. This is a purposeful shakeup. And it's very, very controllable. When you have the game information, you want that skill floor, right? A little higher, right? You know,
not like
it's
this.
a game. The skill ceiling. What if that was? What if we made a loft instead of a one-story apartment? You know, like, ooh, doesn't that feel hipster and cool?
But what if your loft became a studio randomly for 8 seconds?
And they were loud and they played music in the middle of the night. Yes. No, I understand. This is not good information. So let me share with you some better information, but I want to start with Foggy Mists.
Okay.
I want to do this in a tiered system.
Okay.
So every single weather effect has a set duration of about, and I don't know the times for sure, but it seems on general, it's about 2 minutes, 20 seconds, but can be anywhere from 2 minutes to 2 minutes, 30. Then there is a 2 minute, 2 minute 30 break in the weather. And then it starts again.
So when
and
the weather
repeats until the end of the game.
So if I'm stealth, because I could be stealth for 40 seconds, which
sure
scares the hell out of me. Certain heroes being able to be stealth for that long. If I'm stealth and the weather effect ends, I automatically come out of stealth, is my understanding.
Right.
Is there any indication, because I played Towers of Doom on the PTR. I didn't see it. Is there any indication of the weather about to end?
No. But so this is gonna last up to, again, my understanding on all maps, 2 minutes 30 seconds. The game starts at -34. So around the 2-minute mark, you need to watch your back, because you are going to possibly drop out of stealth, lose your shield, lose your lightning buff very suddenly.
Yeah.
But no. Well, hang on. For a whole minute, 50 seconds there, you should be enjoying stealth. You should be taking advantage of it. And then when that starts to happen, is there anything else in the game you can imagine based on time that starts to happen that you have a feeling for? That maybe you shouldn't die. Maybe you shouldn't drink your well. Maybe the merc camps, objectives. There are things in this game that people don't look at the timer for anyway. But you should have a feeling that that particular event is about to happen.
I look at merc timings all the time.
Because you're a good boy.
Constantly.
You're a good person.
And most of the objectives make themselves abundantly clear before it's time to care about them.
Right. So that is perhaps an error here. They have not included any sort of timer. There is a feeling you can take advantage of. There's a window of opportunity that you can use this weather effect. So, Foggy Mists. The stealth is general stealth. So if you stop moving, you will go into unreveal. It'll go, whoa, with the little, crystal business, letting you know that you are full stealth. If you move around, you'll have a silhouette.
Right.
If you attack, cast an ability, you will break that stealth, and then getting in a bush again will fix that.
And waiting in said bush for 1.5 seconds, which I will say feels long. Again, in a game of Heroes of the Storm, and needing to keep things up like lane presence, especially with XP orbs, which if I have, if I'm trying to find places to be like, oh, there's been a lot of thought put into this, that's the kind of thing I think of. Like, it's interesting. That's kind of interesting. You got to go to a bush. Cool. Well, also we've got XP orbs now. You can't just like range soak like we used to. So there's that to worry about.
Range soaking does not work at all while stealthed. So you have to physically stand on top of the XP orbs in order to collect them while stealthed.
Yeah. There's a lot of interesting interactions with anyone being able to get stealth and the way that XP orbs changed how we gather XP in this game. But yeah, dude, I just, I'm trying. I don't like this at all.
Okay. There is a world on this Foggy Mist where coordinated play says, well, why would I do any fight without any sort of advantage? I don't have a level advantage. They're not a number down. Let's just 5-man split soak. Everybody stay stealthed and never interact.
I'm not sure how to refute that.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? Why would you make any attempt at a fight or a gank without one of these buffs up? Although, I mean, it's all relative at a certain point, right? Like Foggy Mists or not, because the other side is going to have access to the exact same
That is huge. That is really important to always mention, is that this weather will be active for both sides at the same time. So there is the randomness is greatly decreased. When people said RNG, that's not true. There are windows of opportunity here. And if you are a good player, if you look for things to take advantage of in this game, why would you ignore an advantage that you can take advantage of? And this is going to become more apparent with some of the other maps. Now, of course, I'm countering. Yeah, I'm not playing devil's advocate. I'm sharing the information I've gathered.
Yeah. It's just, for me, this is like, sorry, what was that?
I'm undecided.
You're undecided. Gotcha.
I think shaking up things is fun. I think that it could have some really interesting effects on who we want to take on particular maps. I think that this could be a learning tool. Blizzard might look at their stealth characters right now outside of Zeratul and Sammy and say, these characters are underperforming kit-wise, and we can't buff their kits because stealth is a huge part of their power pie. What if we took Foggy Mists as an opportunity to teach all players how to use their eyeballs and how stealth works. Everybody learns how stealth works, and so everybody can counter stealth play in the future.
I admire your optimism.
It's a noble goal, I know.
It is a noble goal. I think that is a pretty wide stretch in hopes and this is assumed, right? This is a potential possibility. Yeah. This is not something that the devs have come out and said that they are hoping to get out of this. We've recently been talking about the burden of so many battlegrounds in this game.
Mm-hmm.
And thanks to Jay Howe, I have been reinvigorated by my desire for there to be even fewer maps in rotation, and that map rotation to be the same across unranked and quick match. This goes so far in the other direction of like, hey, we're still gonna have to know all of these things, all of these timings and intricacies of these unique battlegrounds, which is part of what I like about Heroes of the Storm. I just wish it was pared down a little bit more for seasons. And also now, hey, here's these wacky, which is the word I can't get out of my mind, effects that just pop up and throw a lot of your game knowledge just out the window. With XP orbs and with Call to Help, I've spent the last year of Heroes of the Storm defending the anomalies, because we'd go on the subreddit and everyone would be crying. But my pre-existing game knowledge, and I recoiled from a lot of that, saying, open yourself up to learning a little bit, because both of those were very focused, compartmentalized changes to the game. They could wrap your head around, affected everything equally. This, I am 100% with everyone who's setting Reddit on fire and saying about my game knowledge, because I don't want to play Brawl. I feel like I'm a Smash Brothers player who never wants to play with items, and Nintendo came in and said, screw you, they're on all the time by default, sorry.
You're not wrong. And I agree with your sentiment. I understand why you feel that way. But these effects are only on Tomb of the Spider Queen, Battlefield of Eternity, Hanamura Temple, and Towers of Doom. I also remember that we were recently lamenting the lack of diversity in the solo lane, maybe. That it's become a bruiser, rock, paper, scissors, which is healthy, but it's not a map pick situation. And we also don't have a lot of map particular picks. We have Nazebo and Ragnaros in the mid leagues, doing Soken and doing Braxis things, which I don't think it's not a good win rate for Ragnaros in the first place, but it feels good mid leagues. For the most part, there are a lot of one-trick mains who just pick the same hero regardless of map, and we make the same comps regardless of map, or try to. This sort of thing could empower, stealths being available, empowers Tyrande, Tassadar, Lunara, Murky, Rhaegar, Kharazim, Mephisto, Brightwing, Hanzo, Cho'Gall, all who have stealth reveals. They might be more likely to be picked now on those particular maps. Now, we have this in the ante as well, because if everyone's stealth, and I know Rainers, and they're not good at hitting their penetrating rounds, they're not able to right-click the enemy. They can't knock someone off their mount while they're rotating. They can't be a part of this new game. Sammy, during this cloak business, if he wants to make ganks, has to go Blade Storm, because that's the only way Samuro can knock people out of stealth. But you got other heroes that benefit from this, like, Uther, Alarak, Maiev, Kerrigan, characters who are very bursty, melee, and can get sweet picks from in stealth. I mean, what about Diablo? And that's a great question. I think he's a great example of this. Diablo can't right-click the enemy. Oh, Diablo sucks. But he has Flame Stomp. Oh, Diablo might reveal. a stealth Diablo that's taking advantage of a 1.5 second break in a bush, then is using the game map and using it within the time frame he is given, is able to make a stealth engage and destroy somebody who isn't using the stealth buff. So I agree that and even their text said, this is for fun. But if we embrace it, we can find new ways to carry, to have a greater impact during these windows of opportunity. And if we're doing 2 minutes, 30 seconds off, as I mentioned, or so, 2 minutes, 30 seconds on or so, off, you know what I mean. If it's varying back and forth, it is missing the first objective. So this is empowering the time between objectives. I mean, of course, we could all delay and no one goes on the Sky Temple thing, so nothing happens. But this is jazzing up the early game. And that might be bad, too. Because if we jazz it up, then people never stop fighting because they're too busy being jazzy and they don't soak. So anybody who always yells, just soak, like most of these are not a buff to soaking. They're a buff to fun. And fun means people won't stop team fighting. So I am undecided. I think there are some cool ways to take advantage of this coming up. And I think there are some maybe oversights, but maybe they're not. Maybe they're just for fun, or maybe they're extremely interesting. So do you have any questions about Foggy Mists?
I didn't really prepare any questions because I am firmly convinced this will last 2 weeks.
Okay.
Like I am firmly convinced that this will just be this will be the shortest lived anomaly.
What if it lasts a whole season?
I'm going to be playing a lot of other games.
Oh, so you would leave.
This is turning the rest of Heroes of the Storm into Brawl, which is the mode I have played 3 times.
I'm with you on. I haven't played much Brawl at all, so I'm with you on that feeling about Brawl. But I see opportunity on the horizon.
Yeah, and I'm trying. Like, I'm not here to tell you that I don't think there's interesting conversations here to be had. Like your quick breakdown of Heroes that Excel with the Foggy Mists weather effect. I mean, that is fascinating. There are so many moving parts. As a content creator, like, it's a gold mine, dude. We could spend entire episodes on like small bundles of heroes and how they interact with these. We would never run out of content. I don't want to play it.
Well, maybe I can convince you with the next one. Maybe I can let you know that Snow Flurries aren't so bad because it's just a shield. And it works like Muradin. As long as you're not in combat for 4 seconds, you will start accumulating the shield. You can attack during it. Your shield will end when the weather ends, but it obeys the exact same rules as our foggy weather, 2 minutes, 30 seconds or so.
This is the one I am the least ruffled about.
Cursed Hollow, Infernal Shrines, Volskaya Foundry, and Alterac Pass. I thought it would rain on Cursed Hollow and Infernal Shrines. I don't know. Snowing, but it's fine. They divided them in groups of 4.
Yeah.
So, but that doesn't interest you? The idea that armor with shields becomes very valuable and very interesting. I mean, if you go for it.
The thing is like I don't know where the line is, but they have clearly gone way past it, whatever it was. I was pretty on board with all the anomalies. I thought XP orbs went too far at the beginning. They ran it back in. The last anomaly, Call for Help, I really liked it from the get-go. But this one, it just goes too far. And so I'm like, I don't think anything you're saying is disinteresting. I am just so deeply disinterested in this concept as a whole that I really shut down. And I think I'm experiencing what a lot of the community, the vocal community, is experiencing. In that, like, I'm really recoiling from this.
I got you.
It feels like runes all over again, which didn't even make it to the game. People dumped on it so hard.
we are dumping on it like runes. I think that's a very, very different example, but like runes, we are dumping on it harder as a community to see if we can get it to go away. But arguing with your flat tire isn't going to make it better.
Yeah, and I'm doing a very poor job. I don't know, explaining why I feel. To me, like I just can't accept that this is going to Stormlake. Like I just can't.
Well, what's something fun? Like my brain, I agree with you. It goes to negative things like flat tires, taxes. Like someone walks in the room and you're like, "Yo, $50." I'm like, "From what?"
Well, for fun, I go to things that are non-competitive. I go to Mario Kart. I love Mario Kart, but I play that game for entirely different reasons than I play Heroes of the Storm.
What I'm asking instead is that when you accept a flat tire, you can deal with it. So is there a way in your brain you can accept this weather as a reality and therefore embrace it and think about the possibilities?
I will have to stop trying to win. My brain goes, if I'm going to play this, it is now just a wacky mode. I no longer am interested in me personally. There are things to learn. I'm not interested in learning them.
All right.
I'm just going to play meme characters from now on.
What? Maybe. But what we're getting there. I'm working with you. All right. What if you love Uther? Which we do. We love Uther. Uther's fun, right?
Who doesn't love Uther?
Who doesn't love Uther?
People who don't like pianos, I guess.
Pianos?
You get a lot of buttons if you spec certain
ones. Okay. Okay. What if there was an anomaly that gave everybody, let's say, passive shields, increased their overall health, and armor was really, really good with shielding? Let's say in that environment, solo healer Uther might be a possibility because everyone has passive shields. Therefore, Uther is overall more effective, perhaps, than another healer. What if you love Varian? What if you're like a Varian main? You know all the builds, you love everything about him, but Shattering Throw that destroyed shields, deals bonus damage to shields, suddenly became it. You're a Misha man. You're getting twice as many shields as other people. What is wrong with you? Misha has shields, Rexar has shields. You are literally doubly benefiting from this.
Yes, I
should be the sad one.
I was also detrimentally affected majorly by Call to Help, and I loved it.
I should be the sad one because shields mean percent-based damage is lower, and my poor Leoric isn't as good on these maps now, if we're considering that to be a fact.
Yeah. It just, again, I'm useless here, Kyle. I'm useless for you. I think you should give your presentation because my only response is, that's nice, I hate this.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Let me, then I will continue my presentation. But sadly, we're entering really, really tough territory here. And this will be the Rainstorms. And the Rainstorms are available on Garden of Terror, Sky Temple, Warhead Junction, Braxis Holdout, in ranked rotation, and in quick match and unranked. You'll see them. Wait, hang on. I did that wrong. Garden of Terror, they did it wrong. They put it in the wrong order. Okay, Garden of Terror, Sky Temple, Braxis Holdout, and Dragonshire, ranked rotation. Unranked and quick match, or that Warhead Junction and Blackhearts Bay. Rainstorms. This is the one that's most likely to be thrown out the window, in my opinion. It is suddenly speeding up. Same window, 2 minutes, 30 seconds, but periodically throughout that window, you'll be struck by lightning. These are predictable times because the very first lightning strike always happens at 24 seconds or so. The second lightning strike always happens, and this is game time, by the way, at about 50 seconds or so. And the third lightning goes at about 1:18 or so. And there may or may not be a fourth lightning strike if the storm lasts long enough. So by memorizing the timings of the timings, Garrett, you can take advantage of storms.
No.
Okay.
It's just no. Why? No.
Okay, there's only one.
So I'm actually mildly interested in the 25% movement speed increase. That makes me go, wacky, but fast, and we've already dealt with a movement speed increase in the past, so why not just crank it up a little bit further and let's see where that goes. It's everything else. It's the move, it's the lightning shield with like everyone suddenly getting AoE damage, and I'm just like, it's too much.
Well, here, in a perfect world with perfect gamers with perfect skills, 24 seconds is exactly when both the lanes have met together and started battling. If you were to clear the lane fast and rotate, you wouldn't have to mount up. You can rotate faster than your enemy using game knowledge.
Have you, seriously, did you spend this morning with your coffee crafting pros targeted directly at me?
Not necessarily, because I know that's horribly wrong, because I know what'll actually happen. Because people are going to receive movement speed buffs and lightning shields and go, let's fight, and not take advantage of a quick rotate that might be possible with that amount.
Just Heroes of the Storm bumper cars.
Yeah, they're gonna party in the middle for 3 full lanes instead of 2.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, man, I really do think that for me, like, the big disconnect here is draft. Like, and this is me admitting, I don't want to learn this much for draft. I really don't. I don't want to have to understand how each and every hero applies to each and every battleground and each and every weather effect on each and every battleground in a draft environment, and how and what synergies that comes up with. In something like Quick Match, where I kind of give myself to madness already because it's complete random happenstance if I actually get a comp at all, this doesn't bother me as much.
But you get 2 lightning shields, Garrett, on your main. Misha and Rexar are both. Have you ever felt, I wish Rexar could go faster? I wish Misha had a lightning shield.
I absolutely wish Rexar could go faster, but I guarantee you right now, I'm going to die so many more times on Rexar with this, because I'm like, if I can get Misha and Rexar close to them, I'm doing extra damage thanks to this lightning shield, and I'm ganked and dead because 25% movement speed.
There's also a whole nother equation.
I know myself, man. At no point did I say any of these negative connotations. My pushback from this at any point was me saying I'm a perfect player and I still don't like this. No, I know myself. I'm not going to be able to control myself. I'm going to throw myself into death so many times because of these anomalies.
And there's a great example of this with Johanna, because Johanna, 25% movement speed, condemning, lightning shield, you grab everybody and they all take a bunch of damage. But it's actually a negative because everybody's moving 25% faster. And the 4 people you grab will have lightning shields on them, so you're taking 4 times the damage that you're dealing to them and you die. But what about Medivh? What about Diva? What about Zarya? What about Uther? What about Tyrael? Like, all these heroes that don't see any place suddenly might have a very real place on reducing these 8-second windows of damage.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing. Dorivo in the chat room just wrote, Rexar may be able to take camps at a reasonable speed with shields.
There you go. If you know the timing and you're like, oh snap, like 1 minute, 18 seconds, I know there's going to be a lightning storm. If you're listening to game sounds too, it goes, and then comes down. So you might be able to like listen for it, hear the lightning, the thunder rolling, then the lightning strikes. That's opposite of how it goes, but this feels good in fantasy. And then you take the camp in 8 seconds, right?
Probably would go faster on the other heroes that I also like playing that can already take merc camps at a good speed, but yeah.
I got more. I got tons of examples, but I won't burden you with them.
I really would like to thank you for putting this together. I also have a feeling, since you have images, that you might also have a video coming.
There will be a video going up. Yes,
coming. Okay. Because otherwise, it would have just been me being like, this is terrible. Let's move on, because it's not going to stay in the game.
There is a nightmare scenario I would like to inform you of.
What?
Genji.
Dude, I'm already thinking about that. You already mentioned one of the nightmare scenarios with the stealth, which is Kerrigan. I love that you put it in the pro column. I'm like, do you really want to live in a world? Do you, Kyle, want to live in a world with 40-second stealth Kerrigans?
I'm not sure I want to live in a world where these are lightning shields that deal damage. It says per second, but it's every half second. So a whole team with lightning shields spinning around them, and Genji jumps in the middle of it and deflects.
And just intentionally stands in range of as many bodies as he can.
He could. That also means that every hero that wants to sit up on top of the enemy team is bad at it if they don't have something like deflect.
Kyle, do you ever? Let's have I just want to have a conversation, a real quick, off the cuff conversation with you.
Okay.
You are a paragon of composure. Sometimes, and I've been doing this with you a long time, I don't know if you're just holding it together, if you truly are the paragon of positivity and composure that you are. What does tilt you? Like, what in a game makes you just go, ah? It's like, chained stuns where you don't get to play the game? Is it extremely fast burst where you're just like, oh, damn, I just got 100 to 0'd really fast? Like, what is it that makes you go, Arr! Which I've never actually heard you make that sound, but maybe your brain does it and you're aware of it.
Sure. I mean, first of all, I do have to share my secret nowadays with more content creation is that I get a little excited at the trolliness of being positive. It's this kind of a troll moment in there.
I get it, man. I get it. Everyone's
hating this thing, and if I say I like it, like everyone's like, "How could you?" And then you defend your stance, and it's perfectly natural. It seems, like today, this has been an enjoyable conversation. I'm not playing devil's advocate. I'm just sharing information.
I have found it humorous. I do fear a little bit in the back of my mind that this may be the most negative I've been in a very long time, and I hope everybody laughed a little bit.
You got a lot of people backing you up, man. I don't think you're taking it too far.
I don't want that though. I don't feel my natural state is not agreement with subreddits. That is not my natural state.
To answer your question regarding Heroes of the Storm in particular, it's when people think it's easy to do wombo combos. That's my tilt. That's you just entomb and Jaina casts a blizzard, and it's like, all right, first of all, let's all be in range for it. We've never met each other before in Storm League. Let's all be perfectly in range.
I was looking for something that happens to you, not a belief that tilts you.
That's something that happened. The chat says you should have pulled off X combo, and you're like, now hang on. Jaina literally blizzarded the lane 10 seconds ago, so she's on cooldown. I don't know that. I am trying to make the best engage I can on the Yorick here, but no one's going to back me up or watching my character. Like, what do you want from me? I've got one more too. It's being told that other builds are other people's builds. It's a build. It's a bit like it's a build. Oh, so you're pulling off Liam's build. I'm like, it's the one URL build there is. I'm not pulling off anybody's build. Not stealing nothing. I'm just using what I got.
I've never seen that. That is dumb. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Well, apparently it's mostly due to Not Paradox posting them as X-named build on his YouTube channel. So we'll talk to him about it. He's the one I gotta confront.
No, that's good for him. He's crediting where he saw it.
It's true.
He saw it. The problem with Heroes of the Storm is there's not enough diversity in builds. A game like Hearthstone, it does make sense to credit decks, especially when they're particularly wild or meta breaking. Because so where the hell did that come from? And you want to give credit to where it was sorted out. But here's in a MOBA, boy, you're tilting me just mentioning it. But
yeah. So there's my tilt. Can I share more tilt with you?
Sure.
Okay, you're not gonna like this.
Okay.
Rainstorms and snow flurries, they're dependent on level.
What do you mean?
So the points per shield you have, or the damage on your lightning shield, goes up based on your level.
So if you have a level lead, you also have a rainstorm better shield lead?
Yeah.
I am contorting my face, audio listeners. Yeah, man. Cool. Thank you for making me hate it more.
Now, my counterpoint would be that the enemy may not be taking advantage of their shield, like Garrosh. Let's say Garrosh, this is a conversation I've had this week. Garrosh benefits from the lightning, because he's going to move faster. And everyone's like, well, everyone's moving faster, Kyle. He's not going to get anybody.
The 25% is relative, right? That doesn't scale. There's no... So in a way, I understand that. Continue. Right. Or is that it? Is that the end of your point?
No. I just had to regain my place.
Gotcha.
So, everyone, when Garrosh isn't moving faster, you still get caught by Garrosh. So what are you talking about anyway? So we're all moving the same speed, 25% faster, right? So let's say that Garrosh, though, because he always does, because he's always about mounting and taking advantage of movement speed and being there in those positions, is going to take better use of his movement speed than you will. Just by nature of the character, he will be looking for these windows more than you do. So the enemy's level 19 and you're level 17, and you, being the level 17, being awesome gamers, say, here it comes. Listen for the lightning. We're going to charge them. We're going to get that 2-level down fight while they're technically more powerful in more ways than one. But we are awesome gamers, and we're going to take advantage of our game knowledge, charge them down, win that fight, win the game. So when I take Uther on Alterac Pass because I know armor's better under shields, doesn't matter if the enemy has a level lead. I've drafted and I'm using game knowledge to make more use of that weather than they are.
Kind of sounds like you're hoping on a wombo combo there, Kyle. Just assuming a lot of things are going to work out for you.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
To the Garrosh thing, I will bring up, like, we had a very sizable movement speed increase quite a while ago now at this point. And it took me forever to start landing Misha stuns again. To the point where, like, the change of the movement speed, when someone would start running directly backwards away from my Misha, it was so tilting when I would Misha charge, and them just doing the simplest thing as opposed to trying to juke or move on a diagonal got them out of it. I eventually learned to just wait a little bit, let Misha get a tad bit more momentum, and then go for it, and it's fine. But it took me probably like a good month to get used to it, to get used to that regular movement speed again. And so I could see like Garrosh is totally missing flubbing because of the muscle memory of what standard mount speed is.
Yeah, but what about Kel'Thuzad? After the movement speed change, he missed combos for weeks. What if
Kel'Thuzads just come and put their booty on you because they've got a lightning shield?
No, what? Well, they might, honestly. I mean, I saw Abathur's dig in so they could take advantage of sweet lightning shield action this week, you know?
I can't wait to live in meme of the storm. I really can't.
What if this is all the most tactical, genius, well thought out thing in the world, and they said, Kel'Thuzad, you are too powerful on Brax's holdout in the 4-man lane, so we are adding a random lightning buff that causes movement speed issues for you, so you suck more on Braxis because your win rate's too high.
Wouldn't it have been a million times easier to just balance Kel'Thuzad?
What if all skill shot heroes on Braxis holdouts win rate? The real problem, the problem with my argument
building a wombo combo of a counterpoint right now.
The problem with my stealth education, with armor, shield knowledge, with movement speed usage is that Blizzard here did a bad job informing us as to why. And the only answer we got was fun weather because it's fun. And I'm trying to make more out of it, but that's it. These are supposed to be fun. And if it takes people away from the game, that's a shame. And we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm worried about this one. It's not what I expected from Anomalies. And this type of, like, I can kind of see where they're going, right? Like, we're used to affixes in Diablo and Mythic Dungeons and World of Warcraft. But not like this. Not across all modes.
Technically, the affix version of this would be random weather on random maps. Because you would load into the draft and it would be like, Cursed Snowy Hollow. And it'd make some snow and you'd be like, oh snap, everyone. This isn't Cursed Hollow. This is Snowy Cursed Hollow.
You know what? Never mind. All you had to do was make me imagine the Raven Lord talking about getting out his umbrella. I'm on board for this. If we just get some extra battleground.
New VO, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Get Brand Brown's beard in there. All right, lads and lasses, it's gonna be snowing on the map, and whole damn map just talking up a storm.
I foresee a lot of quick match in my future. Is my final thought.
All right, Rads and Lasses, the lightning's going to strike at 24 seconds, and then it'll be randomized between 50 and 55 seconds next. Think of all the crud World of Warcraft players put up with. But yet, again, like this is, yeah. All your points, while they've been the same point, are accurate.
I feel like my point is mostly just I hate this.
And I don't like to put away the presentation, to completely become me. Just there are heroes I have selected out of this pool that excite me. I could hang out with low health Zul'jin on a snow map and have a shield, thereby benefiting more from being at low health and being okay with it. I have selected heroes that I am excited to try out. This is for fun, though. We have to picture it in that way unless information comes out that this is extremely tactically chosen to target very particular heroes. And as the chat says here, if we want to bring down Kel'Thuzad's win rate on Braxis, but not his win rate on Foggy Mists Tombs of the Spider Queen, this would be that kind of targeted change. But let's wait and see what happens next week.
Fair. Well, yep. Well, boy, yeah. This is just it just struck up real. This a real personal nerve, like with what I come to Heroes of the Storm for, and it ain't this.
We put up with a lot of random stuff, and I understand that adding random to the player base of randomness might be a bridge too far.
I do take issue with how much random has been thrown around, because I don't think this is random because it's symmetrical, unless you have a level deficit. But it's still somewhat, portions of it are still symmetrical. I've seen random thrown around too much. But
absolutely,
like I get it. I get what they're going for here. I really do. And coming in with May makes a lot of sense. Like it's good theming, but yeah, I just like so disinterested. But on the bright side, one of my all-time favorite in-game events is getting a sequel. Nexomania 2.
There you go.
Nexomania 2. Nexomania is coming back, dude. I loved Nexomania. Rexar has not left the Chihuahua mount since it hit the game. I've never changed Rexar's mount
Mal'Ganis. Yeah.
Ooh. Which, by the way, it's probably way too late if it doesn't already exist. Could I please get a Rexar skin where Misha is one of the giant Chihuahuas?
Ooh, okay.
Listen. If you want me to shill the latest anomaly, just give Rexar a Chihuahua Misha, and you don't need to say anything else. I don't need like a backroom meeting or money slid under the table. If I see a Chihuahua skin for Misha, wink, wink. I get it. I'm gonna start shilling.
Well, apparently
the anomaly.
The announcer in this season is going to be Tombstone, like the Tombstone.
The Tombstone?
Who is the wrestler? Tombstone, the wrestler.
There's a wrestler named Tombstone?
Isn't he a real man?
Not that I am aware of.
Yeah, he had the long hair, and he was in a lot of those like he was in a lot of those like stuffed dolls that kids would battle with when they were younger.
Okay, apparently there was a wrestler for ECW named Tombstone.
Undertaker. I'm thinking of Undertaker.
Yeah, you're thinking of Undertaker.
Okay.
Okay, I was about to say, I'm like, okay, apparently
I'm not a big wrestler man.
There was indeed a
wrestler
by that name, but that's
there was also a monster truck Gravedigger.
You're thinking of Gravedigger.
Yeah.
You're thinking of Gravedigger. Just keep
listen. This is just stuff that was going on in the background on TV when I was watching, like Yu-Gi-Oh growing up.
I was not allowed to watch wrestling growing up.
So is it a real dude though? Like a real somebody? Because our last one was a real like popular lucha announcer.
I am unaware.
I'll have to find out. We'll have to find out later.
I'm unaware, but I'm with Chapman. I'd like to see Stone Cold Steve Austin as an announcer in Heroes of the Storm. That would be wonderful. The Rock, would be great. Would be wonderful.
Well, I mean, then we're just breaching into like, if we can do non-Blizzard characters, who would you get just to announce the game? Morgan Freeman.
Could have been Morgan Freeman announcing. That'd be so weird.
It would be weird. Attenborough would be more fun. He's more joyous.
I would like to get more, like, I almost want alternate announcers, like variants of the same announcer. Like, I'd love to hear, like, third wall breaking or self-deprecating Garrosh. Or, like, Sylvanas, for that matter. Like, where they're just, like, making fun of themselves and breaking the fourth wall. And, yeah, but...
Well, there is a bit of a skin tie-in here because Mal'Ganis got a skin, he got a rework too. And it is not massive, but it is a little something because we've all been doing the same Mal'Ganis build for quite a while now. And it adds some talent diversity as well as some new combos you might want to pull off. And some of them are really, really cool. Health is down, basic attack damage is down, Fell Claws damage is down. But that's because we're getting overall more healing through physical damage dealt through certain talents.
Yeah, there's some rather major upticks in what's happening to talents here. To balance that a bit, though, most of these are underpicked talents. Yeah. Most of them. Not all of them, but most of them. So I'm always trepidatious with base kit nerfs. Because so often it feels like down the road we give a little bit of that power back.
Well, Wing Guard has just been dominating level 1 for a really long time, and even when it doesn't really match the matchup, it's still being taken. So I'm really excited about like the Vampiric Aura upgrade, which increases Mal'Ganis's physical damage dealt, healing to him. Time to feed is getting a little more cool, whereas if you use Fell Claws during it, you double the healing.
Yeah, they brought the healing down a little bit, but they doubled the healing as an additional functionality.
Yes, that one's really particular. Like, if you auto attack, you won't get double healing, so don't knock off the buff early. But if you use a Fell Claws in to engage, you'll be getting that double healing.
Yeah. And that one is already a bit of a sleeper. I was looking at all of his statistics on HOTS logs when I saw that this rework was coming in, and Time to Feed has a pretty high win rate, even though it's quite underpicked.
Level 4s are all getting upgraded, every single one of them. No more duration reduction on Might of Sargeras. Really, there's like an auto attack build in here that's really cool and very unique in how you might be sort of juggling one Fell Claw, then one auto attack for you, and then one Fell Claw, and then one auto attack for you. That's going to be very, very particular. It might not be worth the work. What I'm really excited about is Blind as a Bat is getting an upgrade that every hero hit by the final slash of Fell Claws reduces the ability cooldown. This works during Blind as a Bat and works after with normal Fell Claws. So if you're hitting, 3 men most of the time in this last slash, you're looking at probably like a 20-second cooldown. Then you wait the full rotation for the next Black Claw, and you can get that back real fast.
Yeah, there's a lot of really interesting changes here. And it's all good, right? I don't think there's a single nerf among these things.
Not that I can
Unless you're looking at something like the healing reduction on Time to Feed. But again, the additional functionality of the double healing with Fell Claws is that's a major buff.
Yeah, or if you were just crazy about that bush style play that seemed like I tried it once. It was weird sitting in bushes for your engagement. Yeah, that's gone, and the good part of it has been baked into a later talent. I think that's all right.
13. Stop looking at the notes for a second, Kyle. I would like you to guess the pick rate on Nightmare Fuel.
Let's go with 5%.
Lower.
Oh, damn. 3?
2. 2% pick rate.
Get that out of here.
What do you think the win rate was?
45.
32.
Man, that's a stinker.
And I pulled last 3 weeks of stats, so it was a good chunk of games I was looking at.
How many games were played with that compared to another talent?
That I will have to pull up in real time.
Yeah, just curious, because that thing just didn't seem like the whole bush. It's nice to anchor. It's nice to sleep people from a stealthy position. But...
Do you want the 3-week range I was looking at?
Sure. Give it to me.
So that was where was I looking?
You were looking at Nightmare Fuel level 7.
52 games.
Okay. Compared to Will of Tichondrius.
1,003 games. with a 53% win rate, by the way.
All right, yeah. I mean, Will of Tichondrius is getting more interesting. It is kind of, if you don't take advantage of it, if it's a nerf. But again, that was, I believe, a 3%, right, on the old version for the final slash giant killerage.
I don't have that up in front of me. What was the talent again?
Will of Tichondrius.
Yes, third slash steals 3% of maximum health from enemy heroes.
Cool. So now, as long as you hit heroes with the first 2 slashes of Fell Claws, you can build that up to a 4%. And it stuns additionally.
That's wild.
If you hit at least 4 enemies on the way to the final slash. So he's becoming more complicated, but I think this means he's going to have some very cool talent diversity, and I'm excited about it.
I mean, to me, it's not the biggest Mal'Ganis player in the world, but it seems to me that these are the types of changes that if you have Mal'Ganis dialed in, and that it's a little more of a challenge, I think, in a good way, because there's a lot more power potential with a lot of these talents, the way they're going to be working now.
Yeah, if you already knew him well, you could take advantage of these new things. But if you weren't, maybe you're not as wrong in new areas. Like the weather, maybe.
I was about to make the joke. I'm like, but then you
Okay.
worry about how he works at 25% more movement speed with, it doesn't matter.
Well, man, I've got some real sadness to share on Mal'Ganis front.
Go ahead.
Lightning Shield wakes up sleeping targets. So if you sleep in under the effects of bonus movement speed, which you wouldn't have because movement speed doesn't stack. So you'd be under your better movement speed, whichever the two it is. But if you have a lightning shield on you and you sleep targets, you'd wake them up near immediately. So Mal'Ganis is a no-no on the rainy maps.
You remember how, like, what a bummer it was when things like Asmodan orbs and whatnot weren't getting XP?
Yeah.
But, like, what was it? Hammer had an exception? Someone had an exception. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You know,
but poisons in particular was the big one we talked about a lot.
Yeah. You know, what a bummer all of that was, all of these kind of unintended consequences of the XP orbs. There's going to be so many more unintended consequences.
Could be, or it could all be perfectly planned, and we'll find out next week.
It's really just, it's the game wide, man. It's the game wide. Like, I'm all for fun. Let's just keep it, pick a mode and keep it there. Murky got a buff.
Murky did get a buff.
Yeah, health on your spawn egg is going from 324 to a Mimi 420.
And the scaling is now fixed to match the 4% of most heroes.
Yep.
So better eggs. And Murky, he's going to benefit from a little snow action because he'll have more overall health. In fact, I can't think of a map that Murky wouldn't be better in.
I'm nothing but meme heroes from here on out, man. You're going to see me on Murky so much more.
Nothing but memes.
Nothing but memes.
Welcome to Into the Memes.
Into the Memes, where we try and find sanity in an insane world. All right. I think that's it, dude. I think that's the show. There's a lot to take in. And next week's going to be really interesting.
I agree.
If there's one undeniable, I guess I'm going to say it's a positive. Heroes is going to become many things. It is one thing it will not be is boring.
If you don't feel like playing the game, the show will be fascinating either way. Gonna be a good couple episodes coming up.
I can't wait to see where you fall on it, Mr. Neutral.
Yeah. I honestly, the first time that lightning struck, my brain, much like the movement speed change, went, oh no, whoa, this is too much. I'm moving fast. Everyone's moving fast. This is weird. By the end of the match, my brain was like, oh, I'm ignoring it. This didn't have an effect on me, really.
Cool. Well, folks, stay tuned for that. Be a big show next week. Also, if you like our show, you want to support us, head over to patreon.com/ITN. That's the best way to do so. Huge thanks to our producers, Declan H, Cheesy Bob, Chris K, Mike C, and Eric C. You can catch us live Thursdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. If you want to come join us live, hang out in the chat room, you can do so over at twitch.tv/AMoveTV. Follow the show on Twitter at ITNcast and catch our full-length uncut VODs over at youtube.com/AMove2 if you're looking for the VODs. But Kyle, you do so much more than just Into the Nexus. Where can folks find you, and maybe that video you're definitely preparing?
Yes, many videos right now happening across the web. You can find my personal YouTube channel at youtube.com/Kyle Fergusson, 2 S's in Fergusson. Everything I do can be found over at kylefergusson.com. But if you're looking for the crafted, learn to play video experience, that is over on Heroes Hearth. youtube.com/Heroes Hearth. You can find my May theory crafting video, an additional theory crafting video coming up soon for May, and of course the big weather rundown coming up soon on that website.
Promise me you're gonna do a cheesy green screen with like a button down and a tie, but no jacket. Definitely no jacket. I thought
about it, like getting the little symbols and then like the little puffed out cheeks wind like thing going on, but you know, there's only so much time in the day, Garrett. Videos got to be made in a timely fashion.
There's too many new things to learn in Here's the Storm, so there's no time for weatherman jokes.
I would have a good time with it, though.
I just want to see you looking like an Olive Garden waiter.
Wait, with an apron?
Oh, I guess they do wear aprons, don't they? Anytime I see a tie and a shirt but no jacket, I'm just like, you look like a waiter.
Yeah, that's a good point. I guess they don't do jackets because they're up and standing and stuff, and the sportscasters are sitting, so they're wearing jackets.
I feel like it depends on the weatherman. Anyway, doesn't matter, folks.
I like a slick jacket, like a really not a sportscaster jacket. Those are big. I want a real slick, like tightly fitting, like showing off my physique jacket.
Dude, it's 2020. You should be getting. You should have a modern cut jacket by now.
Yeah, nice thin tie, like a red button down with the sleeves rolled up, and yeah. Is he a bartender or is he a weatherman? Like nobody knows.
That's a little much. That's a little too far, but sure, sure, why not?
Oh, okay, all right.
Little bit. Also, if you're shaking as a bartender, full jacket, pretty hard. That's why you see a lot of barters in the vest only.
No jacket. Yeah,
a lot of range of motion in a vest, but not.
But you
so
need
much
those little belts, little arm belts.
I mean, yeah. If you're really trying to ham up the speakeasy style, go for it.
And I would. I just got a manual espresso machine, Garrett. I'm hamming.
Well, folks, if you liked that conversation, then just having, let me tell you about a show called Week Sauce, WEEK Sauce, all one word. Kyle and I do it once a month, and we got one more in the hopper planned. It's going to happen soon. We're going to celebrate 10 years of podcasting together. We're going to have some stories for you. We don't know when it's going to happen. Scheduling is a little nutty at the moment, but it will happen before the month is out. And after that, we're planning to put it to bed unless we hit our next goal. We are $20 away. 20 of you go sign up at $1. We're there. We're there. So go check it out. Patreon.com/ITN. Keep Week Sauce around. Other than that, I'm on Twitter. If you want to hear other complete insane ramblings, you can find that on over at Garrett Art. Everything else, this show included, is at amove.tv. Just put out a big fat Angry Chicken episode last night. If you're curious about the new patch in Hearthstone, Demon Hunter got nerfed for a 4th time, and they're changing a bunch of stuff in Battlegrounds. So go check that out. That's going to wrap it up for this week's episode of Into the Nexus. Until next time, good luck, have fun, and I guess bring an umbrella, everybody.
Well, the fog, though.
Also, do you do umbrellas and snow?
Low light shoes that light up.
Yeah, rain boots.
There we go.
Reflectors, high visibility clothing.
Yeah, fog lights are nice. I like fog lights. Those look good on cars. Y'all take care.
Spoken like a previous Subaru owner.
Damn right. I wish I had the top lights too.
Oh, like a refract light. Like you're going
like my Jeep lights kind of business.
Yeah, you're going mudding.
Yeah, so I can go
and/or hunting.
And like a T-Rex is chasing me or something.
And a windshield decal that says, "If you're reading this, flip me over."
Oh wow, I haven't seen that one. Yeah, people are all about the infinites up here. That's like Oregon's all about infinite.
Why?
Like it's a heart and it's like infinite on an infinite symbol, so it's like infinite love or like infinite dogs.
What in the tramp stamp is that?
I don't know.
It sounds like a bad lower back tattoo.
It happens. It's everywhere, man. Everyone like, you know how like Florida, California too. They love their area codes.
Yeah,
this is the area code thing up here.
You know what it is in Florida and has been for like the last half decade is Salt Life stickers.
Oh yeah, Salt Life. Yeah,
Salt
yeah.
Life
I don't know what that means. Yeah,
you're all about that life.
I'd rather have that than Life is Good or like deers making a heart. That one's kind of weird. Like there's two deer faces and their antlers
make a heart. Oh yeah, oh those are all over the place here. Yeah. All the hunting trucks.
Yeah, but like the deers are like in love with death. Yeah, I'm not really sure what the meaning is.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
Like two. Yeah. Yeah, but that's for weak sauce. That's for weak sauce. Thank you all for being here today during the stream. I saw lots of you chat, and I know there was a lot we didn't go over. There was a lot of particulars we didn't get to, but it's a meaty one. We'll see what happens next week.
It's an emotional week for Heroes of the Storm players.
I'd rather have Salt Life than Life is Good with that dumb smiley face.
I do hate that smiley face. I also hate that font, that text, that font style. Big graphic design trigger for me. Don't like it. It's like if Comic Sans went Super Saiyan 2. It would be
it beats out Big Dog though.
Big Dog. Live, laugh, love. Yeah, Corny. Oh, you got me. Yeah.
Yeah. What I want to do is the Sith Creed in cursive in my kitchen.
My mom gave me a really nice album of wedding photos. Unfortunately, it says "Live, Laugh, Love" on the album.
Oh no, she didn't.
Oh, she totally did.
Oh
yeah. That's a lovely album. There's pictures. There's pictures of you in there because you were at my wedding.
It's a very sweet. It's a very sweet idea. I use a Google Drive for all the photos of Flynn, and it's always trying to sell me booklets that are all like pre-made and weird.
Bet it is. I mean, if I was a soulless algorithm and I saw that cute child, I'd be trying to sell you the same
You're
stuff.
like, hey, man, it's been 3 months. Don't you want a 3-month book? Oh, 9 months today. You want a 9-month book? I'm like, no, thank you, Google. No, thank you. Also, are these faces the same? You're wrong, Google. Those aren't the same people. Please leave me alone.
Please stop tracking my child, Skynet.
But he can identifies my cat, which is really cool. I'm kind of impressed by that. It's like, oh, we put together an album because we noticed your cat pictures are all the same cat.
I have a graphic design story from work where we have banners that hang from the ceiling. One says it's berry season. The one in front of it says fresh. The from fresh lines up with it's to spell shit's berry season. Cracks me up. That's great.
Yeah. I saw one last night that was F fresh art was the name of the thing, but of course it's spelled fresh farts. Because the F was big and looked like it was for both of them. Nice job.
Nice. Love it. Take a picture of that. Yeah, Daniel, tweet that out at me. I want to see that. That's hilarious.
That's great.
Shit's berries.
Well, we're gonna take it down, get this stuff posted, but thank you all for hanging out and being here and join us for the discussion.
Yeah. Thanks, y'all. Appreciate it. Have a good one. See you later. Bonanza next week.
Oh, yes, Bonanza coming up soon.